Our very life, our very existence, our very spirit is that of Islam. Good, compassionate person. Good, a passionate, heartful, loving person. So just, and again, you study and take it where you want to take it. We're just going here with the language that Allah says He expands the Sudur with Islam when He wants to guide someone. Now, the treasure chest, and they work together, the lungs and the heart. So when you have true Islam inside, this is so important, especially now as we say in this pandemic, coronavirus. If Islam is inside of you, He said He put it in here. So that means wherever you go, you take Islam. Meaning if you're in a situation like now, if Allah put it inside of you, brother, put it inside of you, sister, put it inside of any one of us, and expand ourselves with Islam in here, not out there, He puts it in here. So if as a result of coronavirus, COVID-19, this pandemic, you can't go to the masjid, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. But that's okay, because if Islam is in you, whatever you can't do at the masjid or whatever you can't do somewhere else, taking the precautions, etc., then Allah has put Islam inside of you. So you can go home and practice Islam. You go wherever you need to go and do what you have to do under certain circumstances. I mean, Islam is really portable. You can take it wherever you want to go. In other words, if you're somewhere and they say, we don't want Muslims here, they can't set up mosques, they can't do this, that, and the other, that's fine. We have Islam inside. So you can go somewhere else and practice and set up, etc., etc., etc. So this is not me saying it. That's why I wanted to deal with this. It's not me saying it. It's what Allah says in Quran for the guidance. When He wants to guide you, He put Islam in the Sudur. So I just want to say this, so hopefully to comfort some of us who may feel even a little guilty that they're not coming out to the masjid or even doing Ramadan. They thought they might have been falling short before Allah because they couldn't come and have iftar and do the group prayers and this, that, and the other. And even now, you're not there for the Jummah, etc. No, under these circumstances, as Muhammad the Prophet said, you already heard if somebody is sick or there's something like that going on. No, you're best not to be there. But even going further than that, Allah, if He wants to guide you, He put Islam inside of you anyway. So if under these circumstances, you are not at the masjid or you're not this and that, you have Islam inside. So you pray at home. You read and study Quran. Islam is what? The 5 pillars. Muhammad the Prophet was asked, what is Islam? And he said, Buni al-Islam wa ala khamsa, that Islam is built upon 5. So you have the 5 pillars. You can still practice the 5 pillars because Allah, if He's guiding you, He put it there, right? We have the 5 pillars and He put it in here. With the 5, we have 5 senses. 5 prayers 5 times a day. You have 5 fingers on each hand and 5 toes on each foot. So without going into too much, just tying in the guidance, where Allah says if He wants to guide someone, which we ask for in Al-Fatiha, He tells us where it's at, and then go to Surah 6, ayat 125. فَمَنْ يُرِيدِ اللَّهُ أَنْ يَهْدِيَهُ يَشْرَحْ صَدْرَهُ لِلْإِسْلَامِ. Whoever Allah wants to guide, He expands his chest. Remember that, chest. Where there's 3 in the chest. 2 lungs and the heart. So important for our life. Our very life. Connects it to our very life, right? If the heart stops, as we say, we finish. If the 2 lungs collapse, then we're finished. And they work together in the circulatory system, as we repeat, that we take in the oxygen, it oxygenates the blood, working with the heart, and it carries the oxygen all the way through. So we have 3 things in the chest. Make note of that. 3 precious jewels. And that's to show how precious and valuable Islam is, because Allah puts it in the treasure chest with our very life organs. And he say, it doesn't just go in, he say he expands it. He expands it. Meaning our heart, our love for humanity and for others become bigger than ourselves. Our spirit, the very spirit of Islam, flows through our body. Inshallah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So now moving from there, we go to Surah 94. Surah 94. Now we got this word here, sudur. Sudur. Allah said, satrahu, his chest. He expands someone's chest. And when it's big from the difficulty, you're stronger. And now if you go to, we're gonna look at sudur. So 94, the first ayat called inshara, the expansion, this word here. Allah says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and you have your Quran and you read it. Elam nashra laka sadrak, sudur. Saying to Muhammad the Prophet ﷺ, did not we expand for you your chest? And Allah says, when he wants to guide, and you know he gave Muhammad the Prophet ﷺ, the model human being, the guidance. And through Muhammad the Prophet ﷺ, we were given the guidance. So Allah says to Muhammad the Prophet, he was consoling him as well, because before that Surah Duha, he was being consoled and comforted by Allah. So Allah says here in this surah, Alam nasra laka sadrak. Did not we, Muhammad ﷺ, expand for you your chest? And Allah said when he wants to guide you, he expands it with Islam. Gave Muhammad the Prophet Islam, right? And he says, Alam nasra laka sadrak. Now, to show you this here, that surah goes on and remove from you your burden. Made your chest strong, right? Expanded through difficulty, etc., right? And with the spirit, the love of Islam. Alam nasra laka sadrak. Did not we expand for you your chest? And Allah says, how does he want to guide you? He expanded with Islam. And he said, and remove from you your burden, that which weighed heavy on your back, right? And raise for you your esteem, Muhammad, Rafa'ah, your esteem, Rafa'ah, dhikra, your memory, the remember of you, right? Dhikra, right? Raise for you your esteem. And then he says, Innama al-usri yusra. With the difficulty, right? Difficulty eventually makes you strong, inshallah, right? If you overcome it, right? Allah says, Innama al-usri yusra. Wa innama al-usri yusra. And did not we expand? He says, with every difficulty, brothers and sisters, as Allah says, right in the difficulty, there's ease. There's something to facilitate us to move on. Trust in Allah. Have faith in Allah. And Allah says in another place, do you think you will be able to say that you believe and not be tried and tested like those before you? So here, and we know he said, and then Allah says, when you finish one task, right, still labor hard. And then he says, as it closes, but always keep your attention on your Lord. Now, this was our emphasis, guidance, and now sudur, where Islam is. Allah puts it inside. And what we see on the outside is an expression of what's on the inside. So the way what we dress is a reflection of what's on the inside. What we build is a reflection of what's on the inside, right? So Allah puts it in here, but our look, that of a Muslim, say with a kufi or with a beard or whatever, jalabiyah, whatever, that's an expression of what's inside. But that's not Islam. Islam is what's in here. And what's in here can be expressed outward, right? From the microcosm to the macrocosm, right? The true Muslim is what's inside. Allah says when he wants to guide you, he puts it in here. So now we have it in here. And you may build a masjid this way. You may do this way. You may dress this way. But that's an expression of the outer. But remember this, You can have outward expression, but be an empty shell inside, right? Because Allah tells us of that spider, right? That through his fitna, etc., in that surah. That's how do man think he say do he think you will be able to say you believe and not be tried with fitna? That's in the spider, because the spider will leave your outer shell but takes the inside, right? The spider works this way. He has his web, the flimsiest of all, and you'll see that bug caught in that web, and you'll see his whole outer form. But if you blow on it, there's nothing there on the inside. And so Allah puts Islam inside. But Shaitan wants to get what's inside and leave you looking maybe like a Muslim, dressed like a Muslim, or whatever you dress like. But on the inside, he's taking that out. And that's leading us to where we want to go from here. Now, from there, so Allah makes it clear that he expands it with Islam in the Surah. Now, just picture this. Go to the last surah in Quran. And I've talked about this in Jummah several times, but here we're actually wrote it out, and I can elaborate on it from Quran with a little more detail. Now, Islam in the Surah, in the chest, right? 3 main jewels: the heart and the 2 lungs, right? Allah says here in the last surah, and remember Surah, that's what we're emphasizing, Islam in here. So don't be fooled. Do what you can on the outer. Allah says believe and do good deeds. But again, in this COVID-19, coronavirus, this pandemic, there's certain physical things you just can't do right now. We can't embrace. We at the Jummah, we spacing for safety, right? We're wearing masks, right? We're open in and out, right? But don't feel guilty about that. Because if Allah has guided you and you have Islam in here, as Imam Muhammad pointed out some years ago, he said, look, Islam is portable, man. You know, you can pick it up, it's inside, and take it anywhere. You can take it anywhere because if it's inside of you, right? So if somebody say, no, we don't want you out here, fine. In America, they give us the freedom of religion, so naturally you fight for your religion. But Allah said on that day, if you're going to complain that you couldn't do this, then the other, Allah said, wasn't my earth spacious? And then it says that Muhammad the Prophet, what was different about Muhammad the Prophet in Islam is that he made the whole earth as a masjid, right? You can pray anywhere on this earth. So it's inside. So important, because Allah connects taqwa with the inside. Of the soul, وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَاهَا. He leveled it. فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. But not to go too long. Now, go to the last surah in Quran. Surah 114. 114. The last surah. Now, just picture this. And we do it during Ramadan as often as we can. Say you go through the whole Quran, starting from Al-Fatiha, where you ask for the guidance, demand the guidance, right? And Allah say, if we want to guide, He tell you it's in the book, it's in Quran, but when He want to guide you, you want to put it in here, the treasure chest, the jewels, right? Now you go through the whole Quran, let's just say for example, so if you're going through that whole Quran and you got Islam, you done picked up a lot from there, Islam. But even if not, if Allah put Islam in here, you want to protect what you have, right? Now, if you go to the last surah, and I want you to keep in mind, Surah, where Allah puts it at. And again, I'm reminding you, don't put it on your feet. You don't say put it on your arm. You don't say put it on your head. It's here. And as Muhammad the Prophet says, Allah said, it was revealed upon his heart, which is in here, right? And he breathed Islam, right? And you know, the beauty of Islam in the lungs is we get the spirit of Islam, the true spirit of Islam, like the lungs, and it connects with the life gem, the blood of the heart, etc., right? All that the heart represents. and then the air, after the air comes in, we exhale the carbon, the poisons, right? What's not good. And that's what Islam does. It comes into you and it purifies you and it throws off the negativity. It throws off the wrongdoing. It throws off the evil, etc., right? It cleanses you, right? Inshallah, it cleanses you. That's the hope, right? Zakihim, it said, and to purify them, right? So let's just go through this last surah of the Quran. Listen to how it ends. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allah says, Qul, say, Qul, say, Qul, a'udhu bi, Qul a'udhu bi Rabbin Nas. I seek refuge in the Lord of mankind. Rab, the evolver, the caretaker, the nourisher, right? Of mankind. Qul a'udhu bi Rabbi, Rabbi. I seek refuge with the Rab of mankind, the Lord of mankind. Take note of that. Malik and Nas. So you got one attribute, Rab. You got Malik, right? The sovereign ruler of mankind. El-Amin, Nas, the God of mankind. Now just take note, pause for a minute. How many precious jewels is in the Surah? 3. The heart and 2 lungs. If you can move this camera up to zoom in on it. Just come on up. Right. So Allah mentions 3 attributes that you to seek his protection. Qul a'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, the evolver of mankind. Malikin Nas, the sovereign ruler of mankind, right? The king of mankind. El-Amin Nas. 3 things, 3 attributes in this last surah. After you've gone through Quran, now, you know how it ends. You can go on, some of you, right? Now, what are you seeking this protection from while using 3 attributes? When we start the Quran, we say, I seek refuge in Allah from the accused shaitan, right? From the accused shaitan and Allah proper. Now, once you went through Quran, or if Allah has put guidance in you, right? Islam, pardon me, in you, Allah gives us 3 attributes, 3 locks, 3 protections. Qul a'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, from Allah as the Rabb, boom. Malik as the king, the ruler of mankind. 2, El-Amin Nas. 3. Why 3? He says, Min shari, from the evil. Min sharil waswasi khannas. Min sharil waswasil khannas. From the evil one, as he whispers, khannas, and withdraws. Now, get this picture. Very important. You're seeking, Allah is telling us to seek for 3 of his attributes, powerful attributes. Not 1, Rab, Malik, Illah, right? God. From Shaitan, the evil one, who whispers, psst, I'm your sincere advisor. Psst. But Khanas. This Khanas, if you read in the surah, is one of the 80s. 82, 85, one of them. Allah explains the star as Khanas. The star that when you see it and then you don't. He's saying by the star, Khanas, as it withdraws. Use the same word. So just as you see the star and then you look and it's gone, it's Khanas. Go read maybe 85, 87. By the star Khanas, as it withdraws. So now you see it, now you don't. So you want protection from Allah, you say these three attributes, from the evil one who shows himself, I'm your most sincere advisor. Yeah, this thing. Then you look around and he's got Khanas. Then he slides away. But he doesn't come straight, he whispers. Almost sound like the word whisper, right? This word here. Waswasi, whisper, right? So you're seeking protection from him as he whispers and withdraws. Now, what are you seeking protection for? What is he trying to get to? I've talked about it, I reflect over this and just get excited about it, and it's just beautiful. Quran makes it clear. He's whispering where? الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس. Sudur. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. He's whispering into the Sudur. Why is he whispering there? That's where your treasure chest, and that's where Allah says when he wants to guide you, he put Islam in Sudur. So Shaitan aims directly for the treasure chest to try to take Islam out of there, so you will just look the frame of a Muslim, but there's nothing inside of Islam. You see? So, and that's the last surah. Doesn't that make sense? That Allah say, you read through the whole Quran, and you got to the last chapter, and Allah tell you what, protect what you have. And that's our point. Brothers and sisters, you got this precious deen, protect it. Now look what Allah said. But Allah don't just say one attribute, do he? He doesn't even say proper Allah. He says, from the Rab, Malik, Illah. Why three? Because in the Sudur, where he put Islam, there's three precious treasures that Islam affects. 2 lungs and a heart. There's 3 things there. So Allah says, and it probably rotates. Seek help in the Rab for your heart, to protect your heart from Shaitan, your beautiful Islamic heart, right? Seek refuge in him as the Rab who evolved you into Islam. Then protect your right lung from him as Malik, the sovereign ruler, right? Then protect your left lung as God, as Illah. 3, right? Now it can rotate however your understanding can come in, right? That the right lung could be protected by Rab. Left lung could be by Malik. Illah. The point is there's 3 attributes, and Allah says you seek refuge in Allah, the Rab, the Malik, Illah, from the whisperer who whispers where? Not for your feet, not for your head, not for your arm. He whispers and withdraws, and he whispers into the Sudur. So Allah is saying, if I'm giving you guidance and put Islam in Sudur, you have to protect what you have. All 3 of what it affects, right? And we know Muhammad, the Prophet ﷺ, Jibril gripped him 3 times. Read, I can't read. Read, I can't read. Read with the name of your Lord, your Rabb. Ikra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Khalaqal insana min Allah, who created you from Allah. Ikra rabbukal akram alladhi alamal bil qalam. Alamal insana min lam yalam. Right? 3 times, and Allah tells us of the 3 levels of the soul, right? All of this is related here, right? Nafs and amara, right? Amara, lawalma, mutmaina, right? Etc., right? So Allah gives us at the end of the book, Quran, he says seek refuge using his 3 attributes from the whisperer. That's how you know how serious this is. Because he whispers, the evil one, and withdraws after he whispers. But where's he whispering at? الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس. He want to affect your heart, your spirit, the air, the lungs. That's air, that's spirit, right? He wants to affect that. He wants to take that out. Put Islam, the spirit of Islam, the heart, the loving, righteous heart, the sensitivities, all that the heart represents, the courage, all that it represents, the seat of intelligence. We know the massive role of the heart, but they work together. But there's three major jewels there, right? And so he's whispering to get in here. That's where he want to go. Because see, if he get in here, he don't worry about all the other stuff. If he got in here and you go to masjid or you go here or you go there, he done got this. So he don't worry from the outside. He wants to go from the inside. And that's what Allah says. And we read it. When he wants to guide you, he put what in here? El-Islam. And then it says this. And where do he whisper? Min el-Jannati. Yes. Well, min el-Jannati nas, right? I think I left the word, right? From among jinn and men. Yes. Min el-Jannati wan nas. I left the word out. And, right? So he's whispering to get it out of here, Islam out. From among jinn, hidden forces. Forces that we can't see. Just like this coronavirus. There's a challenge. We can't see that, right? We can't see the air. But from hidden forces, right? And from men. Shaitan come in the form of men. They come and they say what they say to create disturbance. To try to take us out of our form, right? Yeah, I think this, that, and the other, right? So he whispered from among men and jinn. But where's he whispering before we close, brothers and sisters? And he's whispering, yes. Yeah, I left the why out. The why. Jinn and men, right? So here that's what we wanted to flow with this. That when you say Al-Fatiha, Ihdina Sirata Mustaqim, then Allah says, so we want the guidance, we demanding the guidance, Ihdina, like a drowning man, please guide me. Then Allah said, okay, go to the book, Dhalika al-Kitabul Arayba Fihi Hudan lil Muttaqin. This is the book where there's no doubt, it is a guide to those with taqwa. Then Allah says, whoever he desires to guide, he expands shahra. He expands his sudur with El-Islam. And then Allah says in that same place in 6, if he wants to let you go astray, he restricts your chest like a person climbing up to the sky, right? And then, we pointed out what was said to Muhammad the Prophet. Al-Amin, like a sort, right? That now we expand for you your sudur. And then we're closing here to protect. You're Muslim, you're a believer, you got Islam, whether you can come to the masjid or not, or whether we under these circumstances, seek protection in Allah, because Shaitan, his main aim is to take what's inside of you as a beautiful Muslim brothers and sisters. And it's no accident that Allah gives 3 attributes, really saying put 3 locks, man. What's in there is so valuable. It's more valuable than your lungs and your heart, because it is your very life, right? It's our life. And if you connect it, it's the spirit. You breathe in Islam, right? The heart is the central point, as Muhammad the Prophet said, if it is good, the whole body is good. It's the good, sincere heart, right? And Muhammad the Prophet said, Islam, Allah said he revealed it upon his heart, but the revelation went to his mind. He said, Iqra, read, right? So there's a connection with the heart and the mind, right? We know Allah said he's closer to you than your jugular vein. And those are the arteries that connect the brain and the heart, carries the blood, right? And we know there's a connection because I could say to you, oh, you don't have to write it down. I remembered your phone number by heart. And the old book said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So here we close pointing out what Allah says. He puts it here. But he tells us there's 3 main organs there in here. And we connect that to Islam, right? And Allah says seek refuge to protect that. Now, again, just to point out something, if you have your Quran, This word sudura, when you're reading some of the translations, you may not see the word chest, you may see heart, but it's not heart. Heart is one of the main organs in the sudura, as we just read. For example, if you, like I say, read different translations. I know in Yusuf Ali and probably some others, like if you go to Surah 39, ayat 22 from Quran, we're going to close pointing this out so you'll know as you're reading. And different translations will say what it actually is brought over from the Arabic. They say heart because they focus that as the central part in the chest, but the actual word would be sudura. Here, for example, in Surah 39, Al-Zumar, the crowd of Yusuf Ali translation, and maybe some others. And you go to the 22nd ayat. Allah, look what it says here. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is what he has translated, and others. He'll say, is one whose heart Allah has opened to Islam so that he has received enlightenment from Allah, and he puts in parentheses, no better than one hard-hearted. And it says, woe to those whose hearts are hardened against celebrating the praise of Allah. They are manifestly wandering. That's the translation. But when you read over in the language where he says, is one whose heart, no, it says sudura. Efemen, shawraha, Allahu satrahu lil Islam. You see, sudura, satrahu. It doesn't say qalb here. So it says, whoever Allah expands his sudura with Islam, anyone who Allah decides to expand his sudura with Islam, it says, فَهُوَ أَلَّا نُورِ مِرَمْبِهِ, and he has given him a light from his Lord. But it's sudura, but in the translation, he has heart. Some others have it that way and others don't. Others have it as chest or breast. You'll see breast a lot of times. And then what's interesting about this ayat is you're going to see sudura, but he got heart. But listen to this here. Then Allah says, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْقَاسِيَةِ قُلُوبُهُمْ مِنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. You hear qulub? And he says, woe to those who have become hardened in their heart. Qulubuhum, their heart. You see? So sudur is mentioned here, chest and heart. But even though in his translation he has heart twice, but it's efemen,